of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The big, the wealthy, the real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. They're irrelevant. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets, and they own all the big media news, all the big media companies. So they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls.
And all the while the man has got an evil smile. He takes delight in what they gonna do to you. Bash your brains out with a club, break your fingers to the nub, and with a stroke your life is scrubbed. And here's the rub, they don't care who they do it to. Tell me, mister, what's my crime? I'm not cut out for doing time. My life is hanging on the line. No matter how I try, I'm still not getting through. They tell me I'm a terrorist. I said I'm not, and they got pissed. They drew their guns, I'm glad they missed. I'm waiting here, I guess I'll have to see it through.
reality's a fleeting thing when searching for the truth becomes a crime. It's even more true now than when I wrote it. So just how are we supposed to find the truth when one side of the story gets filtered out? Right now, Facebook and Instagram are allowing for calls for violence if it's against Russians. Any other calls for violence, not okay. Big Tech has also canceled Russian television or any communication coming from the Russians. You just won't be able to hear it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Google, all filtering it out. And if there's one thing I know for sure, it's that less communication brings more violence, more hatred, more war, more insanity. In fact, the only way to get out of this thing is through more communication, not less. But the thing that concerns me most right now is the whole idea of digital IDs. Central banking digital currency is not the same thing as regular decentralized cryptocurrency. We've all seen what can happen in Russia and Canada when the government decides to tell the banks to shut down somebody's currencies and credit cards and lines of credit. I mean, you're just out of luck. Your business is gone. Your country is gone. Anybody supporting you or giving you some money for your cause, forget about it. If the government doesn't like it, they can just shut it down. Well, with centralized digital currency, they have complete control. Listen to this portion of a Glenn Beck show.
For those who think the Great Reset is not going to control every aspect of your life, let me give you a couple of things. They are now taking the next step to shape global, regional, and industry agendas, end quote, with a new digital ID system. Under the framework, the WEF proposes collecting data from many aspects of people's everyday lives. That's a quote. Through their devices, telecommunication networks, and third-party service providers. The WEF suggests that this data collection dragnet would allow a digital ID. Now listen to this. It's very narrow. It would allow a digital ID to scoop up data on people's online behavior, purchase history, network usage, credit history, biometrics, names, national identity numbers, and medical history. Plus your travel history, social accounts, e-government accounts, bank accounts, energy uses, health stats, education, and I love this one, and more. What's left? Once the digital ID has access to this huge, highly personal set of data, the WEF proposes using it to decide whether users are allowed to, quote, own and use devices, quote, open bank accounts, quote, carry out online financial transactions, quote, conduct business transaction, quote, access insurance and treatment, book trips, still quoting, go through border control between countries or regions, still quoting, access third-party services that rely on social media logins, file taxes, vote, collect benefits, end quote.
Yeah, that seemingly innocuous jab passport, the one everybody was so thrilled about getting, you know, it'll keep you safe. That's what they always say. Well, so easy to turn into some other use. That's the Great Reset coming to a town near you, if it already isn't. Don't think it's real yet? Well, listen to this Canadian banker ID commercial.
Canada is on the cusp of a revolutionary innovation that will transform the way Canadians authenticate themselves online and protect their identity. Digital ID, a fast, easy, and secure way to bank, sign up for government services, renew driver's licenses or health cards, shop, travel, and more. Canada's banks are perfectly situated to help lead the creation of a federated digital ID system between government and the private sector. The World Economic Forum agrees that banks and financial institutions should lead the path forward for digital ID. Banks are highly regulated and trusted. They have advanced cybersecurity and privacy technology, and they have the infrastructure to operate provincially and nationally. A federated digital ID approach can also significantly reduce fraud, save taxpayer money, improve regulatory compliance.
Digital cash could be programmed to ensure it is only spent on essentials or goods which an employer or government deems to be sensible.
Holy shit.
Now, I'm going to take it one step further for you, Joe, right? So the vaccine passport infrastructure is in place. Checkpoint Charlie exists everywhere. They bring in digital banking, central banking digital currencies. You've got a scenario now that you're checking in and out everywhere you go using vouchers that are programmed, and you can only spend where you're told you can spend them. There's another word for that, man. That's called the Chinese social credit system.
Where do I sign up? Yeah, count me in.
Is your neighbor a potential mass murderer? We'll give you the 10 tips experts say to look for. The ECT News Team. Join us at 11.
So, Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So, basically, that's wrong.
That's our vice president explaining to the world leaders what the Ukraine-Russian war is all about. We are up Schitt's Creek. This show is brought to you by my favorite sponsor, me, and my new album, Unhinged, all about what's going on since 2020, and you know what's going on since 2020, but I turned it into a little bit of a musical. 10 songs, count them 10, every one a gem. You're gonna like it. Some are crazy, some will make you feel real good, you know? We like to feel good. You can buy it, stream it, download it, send it to your friends. You can get it on my website, therealnealfox.com. That's Neal Fox, N-E-A-L, not N-E-I-L, and it's the last time I'm going to say that. Fat chance. It's also streaming on all the major digital outlets, and you can buy it on all those outlets while supplies last. I'm about 3/4 through a documentary about Kanye West called Genius. It's really interesting. I really didn't know much about Kanye's life and what his struggles were to become a genius. He worked really hard and went through a lot of trials and tribulations, had a little bit of a mental breakdown at one point. And while watching it, I started to remember that many years ago I had wondered about certain artists that could pull off using their own name or their own reputation and just bragging about themselves in the song lyric. Some of them could get away with it and sounded great. For instance, Bo Diddley. Bo Diddley, Bo Diddley, where you been? And I started to think, well, could I do something like that? You know, something like, Neal Fox, where you been? Didn't work. But there's this whole genre of rap. Within rap, it's like a subgenre called braggadocio. Braggadocio? I don't know. You figure it out. And the rapper just talks about how wonderful they are and how much better they are than the other rapper. You know, it's not just black artists. It's Eminem, Tom MacDonald. So I started thinking, I wonder, President Trump might make a great rap artist, but not me. I just can't brag about myself. It doesn't feel good, doesn't feel natural. I left that up to my mother to do. And it took me a long time to get to like rap and hip-hop. You know, in the beginning, so much of it was emotionally at the tone level of anger. I could only stand to be so angry for so long. I mean, I have no problem with getting angry, but it sure gets boring after a while. And so much of it was totally materialistic, all about bling, all about how many hoes and bitches you can get, big cars, big rings. And then they'd get their hit record and they'd go up and collect a Grammy and thank God for everything. I'm no religious scholar, but I just can't picture God looking down and saying,
yeah, this guy had a tough life. He worked real hard. Let's give him lots of hoes and bitches.
I don't know. So it did take me a while to get into rap, and I kind of like some of it now, you know, from a producer's point of view. There's some interesting sounds and music. And around 2005, I was putting together a one-man show called Pigeonholes. And I was lucky enough to get an interview going with a rapper, the world's oldest living rapper. In fact, he was doing it long before rock and roll even started, back in the 1940s. I'd like to play now that interview I did. That's part of my one-man show. He was coming out with a new music video. It was a premiere, and I interviewed him before the premiere of the video. And I'd like to play that interview for you now. It's become a classic on YouTube. And for you younger folks, you might not know some of the references made to specific artists, because this was, as I said, started back in the 1940s. Anyway, here it is, a blast from the past. See you at the other end. We have with us in the studio tonight the world's oldest living rap artist.
Yo.
This is MC Dr. DJ Biggie BJ.
Call me Steve.
All right, Steve. Tell us what it was like being a rap artist long before anybody ever heard of rap. Didn't you get your start in vaudeville?
Yeah, and it was tough, man. Really tough. Know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do know what you're saying.
It was tough. I'd be on the bill with people like Al Jolson, Georgie Jessel, Burns and Allen. They were great, but I was way ahead of my time. Know what I'm saying?
Yes, I believe I do know what you're saying.
We didn't even call it rap back then. We called it talking. And we didn't have sampling either. We had live musicians. They would play and I would do my thing. It was tough. It was wild, man. Wild.
How did those early audiences respond to your talking?
Those motherfuckers used to go crazy. Know what I'm saying?
No.
I remember one night I was doing my thing and the crowd turned on me. They kept waving their fists in the air, yelling, "Melody, melody, melody." Scared the shit out of me. It was wild.
Wild. And now you're one of the wealthiest rap artists around.
Yeah. Got 10 cribs, 40 Rolls and Bentleys. I'm a dictator of a small country. Got more hoes and bitches than I can handle. Shit. Mother ass. What the you cocksuckers give a shit. Kitty.
I know what you're saying. And I see you're into body piercing.
This was a bitch.
I noticed some religious symbols around your neck. Are you a spiritual man?
Yeah. I owe everything I have to the man upstairs.
Tell us about your new video.
It's about love and peace and as many hoes and bitches as you can. Know what I'm saying?
Yes, I believe I do.
I decided it was time to give something back to society. I've been so fortunate. I wanted to use my celebrity to spotlight a little-known sexual malady that we in the rap genre have kept as our dark little secret all these years. It's a problem that happens to people who are overly sexually active. The song is called "Let's Do It Till We Get Irritated."
Ow!
Precisely. It's time we bring this problem out into the open so we could raise some awareness and spotlight this horrendous condition. Why do you think rappers are always grabbing their crutches? They're hurting, man. And I feel their pain. Know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know what you're saying. As senior spokesman for the rap field, is there anything you'd like to say before we roll the clip?
Yeah. Kids, stay the in school. I gotta shake your booty. Let me taste your tutti frutti. Party hardy to a four and getting down a booty. Cool now, I'm a man. Let's do it. Even if she is inflated, you might get a spot on CNN. Shake a walls, booty calls, do it in the shopping malls. Touch it, feel it, squeeze it, take it, booty, 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 shake it. Do it again. Let's do it. Ladies are attracted to my fame. Excuse me, have we met? I can't remember your name. Let's do it. Had so many hoes and bitches, far too many to believe. I'm MC Dr. DJ, but you can call me Steve. Let's do it. I got so much money, all the girls think I'm fly. I better buy another 100 shares of KY. Let's do it. I owe everything I got to the man upstairs. One day I'll pay him back. Oh, what the f***, who cares? Let's do it.
And so ends another episode of Uncle Neal's Neighborhood, home for all things avuncular. I'm your host, Neal Fox, a.k.a. Uncle Neal, and I highly recommend you go over to YouTube or Rumble and see the videos of all the music I do. I make them with my own little hands. It takes me a month or two to make these things on a zero budget. Some of them have won awards. You gotta see these You gotta see these things. And if you'd like to support what I do, you could become a patron. Doesn't cost much at all. Just go over to patreon.com/Neal Fox. Neal with an A. Yeah, I said it again. And my podcasts and music videos are all over the place. YouTube, Rumble, just put a Neal Fox in there and you'll find it. But the best way you can help me out is to share this podcast, share my music videos, or go over to my website, therealnealfox.com. Pick up some merch, t-shirts, hats, all kinds of great stuff there. And you want to perk up your life? Go out and find someone who needs a little help. Helping someone is the best way to help yourself. Bye-bye. Love you.